Hi, welcome back to my decorating series. We're going to go inside and go back to the 12th floor for a den. So, I was worried that the living room was a little bit too close of a concept to a den. So I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do in this space, but I figured I would start with couches and seating because I feel like a den should be a really cozy, comfortable, relaxing place. And I started with the armchairs, and that gave me the purples. And then I thought, well, maybe blues or greens. And then I had landed on that Monsters Inc. chair. Or no, I'm sorry, sofa. And although I put a bunch of other options down, that one really struck me as kind of the feeling I was looking for. So I keep kind of looking at the different armchairs that I put down, trying to figure out which one might go the best. But then I wanted to look at the walls, floors, and ceilings to help kind of inform the color palette. And so I really landed on blue. And I figured purple too because of the little benches and the Aladdin poof that I'm obsessed with. I figured a carpet would be necessary. And then I was trying to figure out some kind of recreational type stuff to do in this room. I didn't want it to be the exact same vibe as the rec room that we've also put on this floor. But kind of similar. It's kind of similar to the living room. It's kind of similar to the den. It's kind of similar to the rec room, but I wanted them to kind of be unique from each other, distinct from each other. So I figured I could throw a TV in this room. I think I might still do a media room later, but I'm not quite sure. We're not close to the end of the house, but we're getting closer. So I may do a more elaborate TV room, something kind of a little bit more casual and private space versus the movie theater that we did earlier in the builds. But I figured a TV, I figured a fireplace, I figured some books. And right now I'm just kind of trying to see what the spacing might be like because I know I don't want this room to be big. So I'm just trying to figure out if I can block it out, see what works for me. This isn't the be-all, end-all design, but it is kind of giving me something to work off of when I resize the room here in a little bit. So here we go, doing our measuring thing. And I end up making this room smaller. Well, I resize it twice. So this is me going back in, trying to recreate what I did. Oh yeah, I finally decided. I didn't realize how Monsters Inc. this room was going to turn out, and it really isn't, but the furniture is. I think my only real complaint for where this room ends up is I don't like the entertainment console as much as I might if it was a little bit different architecturally and design, but the colors work, and it's really the only entertainment center that's complete. Like, you could put a table down and put a TV down. Oh yeah, I really toyed with this new inside out memory frame, for lack of, it's not really a memory frame, but kind of a memory viewer, I think is what it's called. And I really wanted to stick it in here, but I was starting to struggle with some spacing issues. So that's one of the reasons I end up going back and sizing the room different again. So now I'm trying to figure out if I like this layout, what I'm going to do with that extra space. I wanted it to be a rectangle and not a square, and that was kind of a self-imposed thing that did, yes, give me some issue. Oh, here I was trying a really small option, and it doesn't take me long to realize that this really is not going to work for the layout. But I wanted to try. I didn't want an 8x8, which honestly probably would have made my life a whole lot easier. So we're back to a 10x8. And oh yeah, I really wanted to see if I could do a full wall of bookshelves next to it, but I couldn't fit them in, and I didn't want the room bigger. So once again, putting all the stuff down, and just trying to like kind of make some final decisions to see if I'm really committed to the pieces that I put down. And yeah, the purples are all different from each other, but I think it's okay. And I changed my mind about the windows that I wanted. And I ended up on these because A, they're blue, so it ties into the blue of the fireplace and the bookshelves. And the screen, the Dreamlight Valley logo, has some blues in it, although it's a different color blue. The walls are blue. So I kind of went with like multiple tones of blue and multiple tones of purple. But I think it's okay. It works out. And because I had this extra space, I normally will stuff things like that full of plants. But I didn't want to repeat that in here. And I thought, well, you know, you might read books in this room, you might chit chat in this room, you might watch TV in this room, but you might also, you know, have like a cozy music situation going on. So I decided to take that empty corner and put some musical instruments in it just to kind of give some more options in the den. And yep, here we go. Decided for a carpet over there. Wanted to add a couple more instruments, so a guitar, a harp, and there's something else going in that corner a little bit later, but not quite yet. Decided there needed to be a little bit more seating for musical shenanigans, I guess, and decided to add a second bench to the space. And of course, we have to look at plants. I don't end up putting a ton of plants in this room, but it's always nice to have a little touch of greenery. And I knew I had some surfaces to put stuff on. I kind of wish I had a little bit more variety of some options. There's not a lot to put low down, but that console, that entertainment console, has space on it. So if it could have like some short decor, that'd be great. I do stick a couple things over there, but on the side so they don't block the TV. I decided for a whole line of the lanterns. I went with an asymmetric look for some of the things in here, but I did want to kind of have some symmetrical lighting. Oh yeah, and I used the windows this time to help me space things out so that it was even on both sides without having to, you know, count and all of that. And I went ahead and added some windows opposite the bookshelves and fireplace because I thought about doing a whole line of books, didn't really like that, and I wasn't really sure what else to do with it. I didn't want to put a ton of art on the wall. It just didn't feel like the right space for it, but wanted to do something over there. And then I came across stuff, as I always do as I'm working on rooms like this, especially when I start scrolling through all the lists. The hanging chair from Tangled was another purple option, and I honestly think it looks really cute over there. So I'm glad I do my scrolling, because otherwise I might completely forget about some things like that. And I thought about putting some snacks, like going and cooking some food like I usually do for casual spaces like this, but I really didn't want to. So I just stuck a meal in a cup down, and then I threw a couple other little pieces of decor down. I did some purple orchids. I can't remember what else I put in there. Oh, I used the Queen's box. I know that it's kind of a villainy kind of thing, but we don't have a lot of decorative boxes. And so I chose that for the top of the fireplace. And now I'm trying to find some art, trying to find something to go above the fireplace. And that picture's fine. I think her blue dress is probably what drew me into it. The sun mirror taking up a little space. Oh yeah, there it is, the Pan's flute. I missed it going in, but another little instrument for, you know, like a little casual music vibe happening in this space. And of course, scroll, scroll, scroll. Gotta find all of the little things that might fit in the room. But yeah, I just always like to check, because you never know what you might have overlooked or missed in a different list. And it's good to just kind of remind yourself of the options. All right, well, let's go inside and check it out. We're wrapping up the 12th floor this week. It's exciting. You know, if you had told me last year that I would have made it this far in decorating in this game, I wouldn't have believed you. But I'm so happy that I'm getting to experiment with so many different types of rooms, so many different color combinations, using new objects, old objects. And honestly, I really like how this room turned out. The blues and purples I think are super cute. The orange from the fireplace with the orange of the books and the little gold scrolling around. It's interesting how well you can get such different types of aesthetics to marry in together. The brown of the couch, the brown of the harp, the brown of the basket, the brown of the piano, and then, you know, the Monsters Inc. mixing in with Tangled and Aladdin. Cinderella, I think, is what these windows are from. And yeah, it's really interesting to just kind of pick a room and then pick some objects that fit the room and then see what you can come up with. It's kind of crazy how you can use a lot of the same objects over and over again, but create such different types of rooms depending on what you marry those objects with. I will openly admit that there are some objects that I would use in every room if I thought I could get away with it. So it's nice having the rooms turn out very different from each other, even though I do tend to repeat certain things, like certain carpets I like, certain curtains I like. Oh yeah, I'm trying to get some lighting going on just to see what it looks like in the dimmer light. This is one of those rooms that really doesn't need a lot of extravagant lighting. When you hang out in this space, it is definitely all about cozy, comfortable vibes. You know, if you're in here watching a movie, you don't want it to be too bright. If you're hanging out to play music, this isn't a showroom. You know, you've got the fireplace over there. You could read a book. I think my only real complaint is a lot of the lanterns are really a lot brighter than I would expect them to be. And sometimes that's okay, but I wish I could turn them down, like add like a little dimmer option to them. But other than that, we have wrapped up the 12th floor. Looking forward to the 13th floor next week, and I'll see you then. That's it for today's decorating adventure. If you liked this video, a thumbs up is a great way to let me know, and a subscription will keep you up to date on my latest shenanigans. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are, and I'll see you next time.